Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. My voice is slowly coming back to life, so this should be a little nicer than yesterday's pod. But we are here today to talk about last night in Louisville. We are joined by very good friends, Levi and Chris. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
How are you?
Great. How are y'all?
Doing great, thank you. You know, you guys you're ahead of us right now. Lucas and I are here. We are on the road to Alpharetta today. Apparently, where you guys are, the weather is worse than where we are right now. So that's where we're heading.
Yeah, but the weather does look good in Alpharetta for tomorrow, which is great.
Good. It's improving.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, forecast is changing.
Yes.
That's good. Well, hopefully it changes for Charlotte as well, because that does not look pleasant at the moment. Neil, how are you today?
What the hell is Storm Tracker good for if we don't even know what the weather in Georgia is? Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm doing great. I'm sitting in Boston where it is also raining buckets for like the first time in 3 months. So we're actually kind of excited about it. But good to hear that Georgia's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, you're excited about it because you don't have an outdoor concert to see tomorrow.
No, man, I am not. Tomorrow I have nothing, but the day after that I'm going to see Daniel Donato indoors.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, as we're here on our southern migration,
yeah, baby.
we're going to talk about last night in Louisville. Great Wednesday show, big sit-in. But before we get into a show, I know everybody really wants to hear me talk about Peter's new keyboard rig situation. That's why people are here today, of course. But so Peter rearranged his rig last night.
Oh, sorry, I had to do it.
Ha.
No, go ahead.
Peter did a little bit of rearranging of his rig last night, which was really cool to see. This is the first time he's rearranged it in this kind of way. You know, we've seen a few different iterations, but this one, he put the Rhodes facing Rick, put the synths. You know he put the Roland Juno on top of the organ and the OB6 on top of the clav, and basically it meant that he never had to face away from the rest of the band. And the cool thing about this fancy new Rhodes that he has is it has the MIDI capability to pull the sounds from the Nord stage and use them on the Rhodes. So anytime he was playing piano last night, he was still playing the physical Rhodes keyboard, but it was making the piano sound from the Nord. Same with some of the synth patches as well. So that's kind of just one of the things that this new keyboard can do. I believe that this is not 100% for good. We will see tomorrow whether this is sticking around for a little bit longer, but there's a chance that he goes back to the other setup or tries something different. But this was cool to see, especially because there are a couple of points in this show where he blends the Rhodes sound with the MIDI piano. You know, it's interesting. But I'm always excited when there's an opportunity for being a giant nerd.
Yeah.
Fucking nerds!
And Peter always is excited to have the opportunity to be a giant nerd. Let's be honest here.
Yes.
And I would expect this thing to change at least a half dozen times between now and the end of this fall tour, which is, roughly a week and a half away, it feels like. But
yes.
It's cool stuff.
All right. Well, let's dive into the show here, shall we? Levi and Chris, let's start with you. First two songs here, or first three here. Jive 2, Atlas Dogs, and a big Earthling or Alien to get things kicked off.
Yeah, Jive 2 opener. I think my very first Goose show in Louisville in 2022, they opened with a Jive 2, and it kind of just like brought me back to 2022. I did a good bit of shows then, and you were like 100% guaranteed in spring of 2022 every like 3 or 4 shows to get a Jive 2 opener. So I love that song as an opener. Some may disagree with that, but I love that. And the Atlas Dogs like Jive 2 combo just really like kicked off the first set well for me. Pretty standard. Those two songs didn't really like go which is pretty normal, I guess, for first sets this tour. And then there's a lot in that Earthling and Alien. I think that there's a really big jam in there that I've kind of keyed up on as the Soundtrap jam and Ramon and Emilgo. It's like 7 minutes into the Earthling or Alien. It's identical to that jam, and it's not the first time that they've done that this tour. I didn't go back and listen to the other shows to figure out which song it is, but it is like identical to Soundtrap's Ramon and Emilgo. I think that's how you pronounce that song. But yeah, just
Ooh.
three great songs to start the show. Yeah.
Anything to add there, Chris?
Yeah, no, I totally enjoyed those first three for sure. I could feel something in the air coming out. That Earthling Alien definitely had a good pop to it. Rick and Peter in there doing a great job. I really have heard it said on this podcast a little bit about saying one member is hot tonight. Whether the band is hot or one or the member or another is on, in quotation marks. And I really felt Rick was on for these first three songs, and I think maybe by the time we get to the end of the show, you see why that is. But I definitely was really feeling these first three for sure. That
sure.
Atlas was a lot different than the last one we got. I think it was Burlington, maybe. Yeah. And that was a cool little, it goes to show. And I think Earthling or Alien might be the song that they chose. I know we've been talking about them choosing a song every show, and Earthling or Alien might be the one that they chose for that Goose dance segment of the show. So yeah, I really enjoyed all three of these for sure.
Yeah, Levi, I want to know who you're talking to who would not be happy with the Jive 2 opener, because they have a very incorrect opinion. This is one of the best openers you can get. I thought for a second there was a little bit of noodling that was happening, and I was like,
Big Modern.
Are they? No, I thought it was going to be interlude 3 for a second. I was like, they're going to play Jive 2 here, but like, are we going to get the interlude? But we did not. But the Jive 2 opener was great. And yeah, always disappointing when you're getting no Atlas Dogs jam into an Earthling or Alien. Right. Because initially it's like, whatever. But this Earthling is my favorite jam of the night last night. This is phenomenal. Reminds me of the Toronto version a little bit, in that it kind of has that like very like layered, spacey, psychedelic vibe. This one, the hypnotic stuff that starts to happen kind of in the second half between Rick very heavily using delay and Peter with just like that repetitive Rhodes work is absolutely incredible. And yeah, listening back this morning, I was like, yes, Nate in the chat, this one is an Alien.
Yes, I vote Alien.
Yeah. Neil?
Second.
Yeah, man. This is interesting, right? So Jive 2 opens the show. This harkens back to a time when Jive 2 did open shows. It no longer does. And so right off the bat, you're like, this is going to be a different kind of show. Atlas Dogs happens, no jam. Then you get Earthling or Alien. Now, I think people who've been listening to the band for a while are like they're haters. There are people who are like, I don't like Earthling or Alien. I've never actually disliked this song. You can hate on it all you want, but it's always fun. It's at least very good. And they only play it every once in a while now. You get one or two a tour at most. In the last 48 shows, the song has been played twice. So, that's not that many. So when you do get it, it's a rarity. So it's actually kind of cool. And the last few times they've played it, the jams have been sick. So the last three being Indianapolis and actually, hold on one second.
Toronto.
Sorry, just had a little noise interference in the background. But yes, Indianapolis, Toronto, and then last night. And, all three actually pretty good versions. So like you, I thought this was the jam of the night, but certainly not the high point of the evening.
Yeah. I think we all know what the high point of the evening was.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, one more thing before we kind of move on. So I do want to kind of agree with the point that Rick seemed like a little bit amped tonight or last night, because he definitely was, and he historically does do this when he's around folks. And there's like a period of time after. So keep your eyes open. in Georgia. I feel like Rick gets inspired by guests, and he
Yeah.
really, ups the showmanship. And when we get to Don't Do It, I definitely want to talk about that because he leaned into that performance harder than I think I've ever seen him lean into a cover ever. So that was nuts. But we should talk about the rest of the first set.
Well, speaking of which, before we get to Don't Do It, first set, second half of the set, we get Turn Clouds, How It Ends, Slow Ready Jam. Nothing super crazy here. I do want to commend the band on their time management last night. First set being a tight 75, second set felt like wasn't rushed at all. And yeah, I mean, like, Turn Clouds is good. Again, this is another song they hadn't played in a while. Same with How It Ends. Both of those songs were missing since mid-June. How It Ends kind of had a different intro. Lucas and I thought it might have been Jed Stone for a second, and then we thought it might have been Madalena. Kind of just couldn't tell what it was, and then How It Ends. And then Slow Ready Jam, closest, I guess, not the closest thing we get to Goons last night, but we get a bit of that dance party vibe that had been missing from Tuesday's encore. Nothing too crazy to talk about here. Levi and Chris?
Just kind of repeating what you said, Ryan. It's not, it's pretty standard. These next two songs, Turn Cloud, This Is How It Ends. I will note that, like, at the end of This Is How It Ends, there's like that nice, like, white light kind of like fish moment that is just like sets the vibe, sets the tone for the rest of the night. For me, I love those just like white light moments, regardless of what song it is, I do have a question. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to set lists this tour or this year. But Slow Ready getting separated from the jam, and the jam played on like the next night or two nights, after. Has that been done?
I mean, I think just in like 2021 when they got cut off at Swansea and then did the jam at Westville. But other than that, I don't think that's really happened across the show.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I will note, because I just have to, that this is just taken straight out of the Biscuits catalog here, or their playbook. This is like something that they do very, very well. And I love this. I love like breaking songs in half to be played at a later date. It's a cool touch. I don't really know quite if this was like a Goons song or if it was just the synth, just the natural jam of Slow Ready. I feel like there's gonna be like more to be revealed with like this whole Goons era, of the band going more electronic. I am a big supporter of this Goons movement, but it is like sometimes kind of like hard to differentiate what is and isn't that. They definitely play around with that sound quite a bit, especially in set 2 where it's not quite there, but it is. I feel like when Cotter like raises the BPM, if only like the rest of the band would match that, we would have that more often. But yeah, very satisfied with this. That Slow Ready Jam as a set closer is just a really, really nice touch. But yeah, what do you got there, Chris?
I can only add my personal enjoyment of this type of jamming. The band is really challenging themselves with doing this type of thing more consistently, and I really enjoy it for sure.
Amazing. Well, Neil, you are the arbiter of what is and isn't proper Goons.
I don't know how I became that guy.
Because you came up with the word.
Well, that's true. I want to point out one thing. So they've done something similar to this before. They split across Okeechobee to the first night in 2023 of the Cap Run. They split Electric Avenue in that way, except they opened the show with it. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Although I think last night nobody still knew what the hell was going on because somebody who was doing the live set list he was like, "This is definitely fast slow."
I thought it was fast slow for a minute.
Yeah, you did. And
you
I just want to call that out.
You agreed with me.
I know. Actually, when I listened to it again, I was like, "Yeah, I would have thought this was fast slow."
I agreed as well.
No, I wrote fast slow in my notes for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I think it's actually reasonable to call this fast slow. It just doesn't do the fast slow like two-part
the
thing,
song
which
part.
kind of
Well, and
yeah.
the fast slow jam is different. It is the slow ready jam, but the fast slow is born out of the slow ready jam, right?
So it doesn't have the country royale on the back end. But
yeah,
in any
baby,
case,
come on.
let's hope that fast slow comes back soon. But this was cool, and I really really dug it. What else to say about the rest of the set? Oh, How It Ends is back. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell, man? It's like 14 shows or something like that, which is way too long for that thing to be on the bench. And Turn Clouds, sure.
They played it. They played it.
Yeah,
it's a vibe song.
It's a vibe.
Exactly.
It's a vibe. There are people who really love that song, and that's a great spot for it. Dead center of the first set. You get How It Ends, and then you dance
After
a little
the
bit
jam.
before you go off the second. Not bad.
I really thought we were getting Seekers last night, especially the way that first set was going. But we did not.
Don't worry, you'll get it real soon.
Oh, we're getting it tomorrow. It's coming.
Yep.
All right, set 2 here. We kick off with Arrow into Rosewood. I gotta say, a little bit surprised and a little bit disappointed that they played Arrow last night. Last time in Louisville, the second night of the run opened with a 30-minute Arrow. And so that was, the Louisville Arrow. So to come out last night and play like a 18-minute type 1 Arrow to open the second set, a little bit underwhelming, especially when you have a song like Madhavan or at that point Dripfield that haven't been played, in a long time. Arrow was played in Burlington, a week and a half ago. It has that history in that room from 2 years ago. And so it felt like a bit of an uninspired choice to me. And neither of these jams in Arrow and Rosewood really took off for me. Both were obviously great, like crowds getting down, band playing well, but they're both pretty straightforward renditions of each of these songs, which have both had so many transcendent moments in the past. Not sure if you guys felt similar.
Well, I don't know, Ryan. I was getting the fuck down, dude. Always.
You're never not getting the fuck down, Levi.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I definitely do agree with just comparing the last Louisville run. We got like you said, we got the big Louisville Arrow, and then we also got like the big Louisville Redbird, and I did see a lot of people over the course of the 2 nights that were there the last time Goose did play. It definitely didn't. The overall run itself didn't have the excitement factor that the last Louisville run did. And I don't know what goes through the band's mind with set listing and why the repeats, and then also why only 1 or 2 Earthling or Alien a tour. I don't really understand why that happens, but I do. Yeah, it didn't go like crazy type 2 or anything, but it was definitely like high vibes. It wasn't that they were like playing bad at all. It was very clean, very good jamming, but nothing to like call home about, which honestly I'm okay with, yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't compare to the last Louisville run. The Rosewood, I mean, I like the Rosewood too, and it was nearly identical to that Arrow as far as like exploration. I think that a lot of times, going back to like what we were saying with Rick earlier in the show, I think that he was just more so looking forward to what was about to come, and being so focused on that, I could see him and the rest of the band, not to keep this pod focused solely on Rick, but like how they could just get ahead of themselves, and just wanting to be, just being very impatient, and not really letting the jam settle in. And, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have any complaints about these songs. They were both played really well. I would have absolutely loved a Madhavan or a Big Modern to open up set 2, preferably Big Modern. I don't really see Madhavan as a set 2 opener. I like that in the middle or like end of the second set. But yeah, I mean, no real complaints over this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about that also when you talk about setlist construction is
Yeah.
last night's show on paper was laid out completely differently. It was supposed to
Mhm.
be Jive 2, Atlas Dogs, Earthling, Turn Clouds, Jive Lee, Rosewood, How It Ends,
Oh wow.
Slow Ready Ending, Arrow. So unless the
Wow.
first set was 2 hours, obviously they weren't getting through all of that.
Yeah.
And then set 2 was supposed to be Mist, Tomorrow Never Knows, Big Modern, Dripfield, State of the Art with a Hot Tea encore. So
Whoa.
completely different show than what we got. And so I
Wow.
think it's more about like you have that second set where like Miss,
Mhm.
Tomorrow Never Knows, Big Modern, Dripfield, AIOU. That's a 6-second set.
Yeah.
But with the way that they kind of structured around the Arrow and Rosewood,
Mhm.
being the first almost 40 minutes instead, kind of gave us a different result.
Yeah, it
Neil,
burned
what
a
did you
lot of
think?
that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we get a little caught up sometimes when we think about these shows, and we sit there and we say, we've
Shocking.
got this Rosewood, but it's no Boise Rosewood, therefore this show sucks. Which I don't know, man. Like Rosewood Heart is always cool. So even if I hear an uninspired version, a Type 1 version of Rosewood Heart, I'm excited because it's killer and it's a very rare song. But yeah, but I do agree with your point about kind of repeats from 2023. An insane amount of repeats. And it's important to note they repeated incredibly rare stuff. Like, well, Born is on the semi-rare side, but also they did, Fifth of Beethoven. And like that feels like weird to me because like you just played this stuff 2 years ago and I don't know. I think I felt a little bit differently yesterday. And then like last night when they played the Arrow, I was like, okay, this is kind of a letdown because if you were here 2 years ago, then you're kind of like, I heard all these songs. But otherwise, Arrow Rosewood is a hell of a way to open up a set. Like,
Mhm.
so it's
On paper, it looks
you
great.
take it on face value for
Yeah.
what you're experiencing in the moment, and it's awesome. And you don't juxtapose it with something else. You just think about, all right, I'm getting down to Rosewood and Arrow. This is pretty killer stuff. I don't know. So a bunch of different ways to kind of look at it.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow Never Knows here. I feel like this song, you can either take or leave. Like when Goose plays this song, I feel like sometimes it's kind of like ripcorded out of something like in Phoenix in June. Very promising Proto Goose Wisteria jam that got bailed on for Tomorrow Never Knows. Here it comes post peak on Rosewood, and we get kind of Goose adjacent. Really love what they do in this jam, and I think it's not straight Goose because of how Cotter's playing it. Because Tomorrow Never Knows doesn't have a straight ahead disco beat. And so the way that he goes into kind of the Goonsy vibe is different. So while like Peter has the sequencer loops going and everybody's doing the thing, like because of how Cotter's playing, it's different. And I feel like there's a depth to it here that I really, really enjoyed from this jam. What did you guys think?
I thought that was a great one for sure. The communication on stage between them, and also Peter using some of these effects that you were talking about in the beginning, Ryan, was it was really great to see. It's just a whole lot of talent up there, and making it happen on that one. I do want to say on the Rosewood, back to that real quick. I've been chasing a Rosewood like Boise that we heard, and I really enjoyed the one that we got. But yeah, in the end, those were very good ones.
Levi, thoughts on the Tomorrow Never Knows?
Yeah, dude, great cover. Awesome vibes. Not really not anything crazy to call home about. During that, I had kept looking at Peter and I noticed that something was like different, but I obviously hadn't talked to you yet. And I didn't realize that like it was switched around and not just
Right.
switched around, like incorporated with I didn't realize that all that was going on. And now it makes a lot of sense. There was like the really good playing in set 2 on Peter's part, for sure. I love that he can now face Rick more often, and not even just Rick, but like Cotter as well, and obviously Trevor. I will say this like continuation also of Trevor demolishing, man.
Yeah.
Just like Phil did, like y'all were saying yesterday, just playing all up and down the bass, not just sticking to like one single like note for the entirety of the jam, just really mixing it up. I am also not really a fan of this bass that he plays. I don't like the look of it as much as the other bass. I don't like the long extension on the head of the bass as much. I had the same opinion about Dracul, which was a very hot take. I do not really like how that guitar looks on Rick compared to Empress, and I kind of feel the same way about this guitar with Trevor. But overall, great vibes, great dancing. Yeah, Peter crushed this. Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Neil, Tomorrow Never Knows.
Yeah, just to pick up, not to talk about Tomorrow Never Knows for a moment, but to talk about
Torero Never Knows.
Right, yeah.
Torero Never Knows. Torero never gets played. But Peter facing the rest of the band, I think it's a great thing. I hope it kind of sticks around. I know this is something that Peter has really thought about, because kind of the rudiments of the beginnings of this podcast were way back in the pandemic in Clubhouse, when we'd
Back in the
like
day.
a handful of people.
Sunday shenanigans.
Way
April
back in the day.
2021.
Yeah, and so this is young Peter Onspach, like, comes on to chat with I don't know, it was like a couple dozen of us in the room.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, I got all this new shit. Like, I got to figure out how to set it up on stage. Like, do you think I should put it here? Do you think I should put it here? And like, he was really, really worried about not facing the crowd or the band. Mm-hmm. And that was a big concern of his way back in 2021. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it still weighs on him. I'm sure he's thinking of all these ways. And then I'm sure when he got this Rhodes, he tuned right into that feature and was like, hey, maybe I can have all of this stuff come out of one place, and I can have the thing that I've been searching for since I just had the Nord and I was facing everybody. Because that was the thing, is rig was just getting more and more complicated. Went from the Nord to the Nord and the Clav, and then just kept growing and growing and growing. Interesting. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it kind of sticks around, because that kind of communication that happens non-verbally is important, and it happens with your eyes and your body. Tomorrow Never Knows. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's it's a cool cover, I guess. It's weird that they threw that cover in here, because an original would have fit just fine. I mean, they had a couple covers coming later, so it's a lot of covers late in the show, which makes it actually feel odd set listing wise. But I mean, I always dig it. It's it's fun. It's a cool song.
Yeah.
I will also note that during that like 2021, 2022 period, Peter did play with he had a mirror as well. And I can't remember if the mirror faced the crowd or if it faced
for Rick.
It was for Rick. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. Yeah. I wanted to note that.
Yep.
Good note. So then we get the last, I guess, as B Dumb would say, the last proper Goose song of the show. Dripfields, absolutely relentless. My highlight of the second set here, musically at least. Oh man, and this was long overdue as well. Drip hadn't been played since MSG, which is crazy. Thinking about all these festivals and like radio promo gigs, or like the Mount Joy gig, not having Dripfield at any of those is kind of crazy to me. But really happy to see it come back, and this jam is it's fantastic. It does what Dripfield does really, really well for quite a while, and they slip into kind of this triumphant progression in the last half. But yeah, huge fan. Neil, you got any thoughts on Drip?
I mean, nothing more to add other than it is an epic song that has epic largeness to it when it gets played, and it's been missing for so long. Like you said, there's all of these huge shows that they've played where it really would have fit in nicely, and for some reason it stayed on the back burner for over a dozen shows. I don't even know how many, but like 14 or something like that.
I think it's 14.
Yeah, that's a lot of shows for literally their best song to not be played. And then, just as a jumping off point, just talking about that, like, there are a bunch of other songs that are just outright missing right now. It's been almost 7 shows since Madalena. Like, that's also weird. But they do this, right? They give it time on the back burner for like most of the summer for some reason that didn't make any sense. But so I'm glad that it's back, and it did what it needed to do in this moment, which is made the show feel big and sick. Like, I think this is the song that you play before you have somebody who is like an absolute monster of rock and roll, come on the stage with you, this is the best you got for that. So like you slap this one on the table and then run from there. And I can't imagine a better song for them to have played in the moment.
All right, well, let's talk about this sit-in. Levi, you are a Louisville native. You're a big jacket guy. Want to let you go first on this.
I want to just open up with saying My Morning Jacket is just the Grateful Dead for people that live in Louisville, Kentucky. It will, shortly after this podcast, it will be on a shirt and available on my website, type2designs.com. And that's a plug. Yeah, dude, I think every time Goose has played, at least for 2023, there was like, I wouldn't really say rumors, but just a want and a need for Jim to sit in with those guys. And I think it was just bound to happen. I'm not a Louisville native, but I've lived in Louisville for quite some time now. And, My Morning Jacket is everything in that city. So, just having, obviously, Rick is fond of Jim. Their songwriting is pretty similar in ways, and that yeah, they just match up so well. Of course, like we knew, like if Jim was going to sit in, of course we knew what they were going to play. The Jim James song, not to be mistaken with a My Morning Jacket song, but AIOU is a solo Jim James song. Great version of it. I will say that the intro to the song, it did seem a little bit more flat sounding than Goose's previous versions of it. It wasn't as heavy, like bass driven. It definitely, just the overall vibe of it seemed like kind of flat, and I think that was because they wanted to give Jim just like that center stage to like really sing well, and it just kind of seemed like the band was like kind of on the back burner a little bit, which I enjoyed, right? I really like that. It definitely, it sounded a lot different than Goose's versions of it. And it did sound more like the authentic Jim James version of the song. Jim is a freaking rock star. And just having his energy on stage, I haven't seen that smile from Rick since Trey sat in. Just that like over excitement. Rick does not break his like stage character often. For me that I've witnessed anyway. And just to see that energy again from Rick, having that sit in was just everything for me.
Amazing.
I will make one last remark. I was also hoping for a actual proper jacket song, that I will get into a little bit later, but absolutely 100% satisfied with this sit-in. Yeah.
You gotta wait until Gonzo for that. I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it being more true to the original version. There was a riff in the middle of the song that Rick and Jim were playing that Goose doesn't normally play in this song, which was cool. And I think on the intro, the crowd was so loud, where normally when state of the art happens, it's coming out of like either a quiet end of a jam or a quiet space, and so that piano intro kind of has the room to breathe. But I think all the excitement of Jim coming in did not allow for that. But at the same time, like the energy in the room during this was absolutely like off the wall insane. Just people like screaming their heads off. Oh my God, it was really fantastic. And I love this song. I was really happy to see it with Jim, especially now again, like we've been wanting this for a while, but it was like this felt right because just got announced like last week or whatever that he was coming to Gonzo. So, looking forward to more collaborations here. Chris, before we throw it over to Neil.
Man, this was one of my original favorites from Goose. The state of the art song, Jim James, that's a great album through and through. The song is really special to me in terms of other media. It's on some shows that I really enjoy. It's been a staple of one of the couple of shows that I really like. It's really cool to see it kind of come around. I was looking forward to it, kind of been chasing it as well. And Europe, Levi's totally right. Those boys were just having fun up there. You know, they were really, and it was totally apparent, obvious in the room to the crowd. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Neil?
Yeah, I got a few things to say about AEIOU.
Talk about this and the encore as well. We'll roll into there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll kind of wrap it together. So, you know, well, first I want to talk about AEIOU because when I first started listening to this band, one of the moments where I was like, all right, I'm gonna be obsessed with this band is when they played this on 9/17/20, just after they played Rosewood Heart, the
Hosewood
version, the Hosewood. And so then they played this in front of 500 people standing roughly 25 feet apart from each other in a cow pasture where I grew up in Connecticut. And I was like, oh my God, it's just such a stunning cover, a stunning song, and I've just been wondering when it was eventually going to happen, because you knew those guys were going to cross paths eventually. But the thing that really struck me about Goose's choice of that cover is like, that's not something that jam bands can get away with. Like some random jam band being like, okay, I'm going to just do a Jim James cover and just see how it shakes out, like maybe we'll jam it out a little bit. It's going to sound like shit, except for this band did not. And it sounded amazing. And so I've always been infatuated with this song. I've always thought it was incredible. And it's one of the things that actually really got me into Goose, that forced me to kind of lean into the music, was their cover from 9/17/20. So I will say that. And then this performance is nuts. I like the fact that Rick did not sing in this. That was like just kind of giving Jim James the room to do it, which was great. Like, they traded verses, I don't think it would have had the same effect. And the interesting thing too is when you listen to this versus when you watch the video of this, entirely different experiences. So I listened to the audio on Bandcamp, kind of driving into work this morning, because I didn't catch this last night. I went to bed, but I was like, oh wow, that was sick. And then I watched the video and I was like, oh my God, I was completely transfixed. And that extended through the encore. So the encore also incredible. But the really, really cool part is, before this, I think Rick was singing a little extra hard in Dripfield. And I think it's because he knew what was coming. And then his singing in Don't Do It is like mind blowing. Like, that performance of Don't Do It is the best performance of Don't Do It yet, and probably will be the best ever until they have somebody who is equally as monstrous as Jim James on stage.
Jerry Garcia,
because
like it, Derek and Susan.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, and Rick responds to the guests, and I think he kind of, at least in AIU, was like just looking at him like, this guy's incredible, because who wouldn't, right? If you were that far away from him, watching him perform. And I think, Rick just upped his game for that encore, and it was sick. Guitar solos were sick.
It wasn't supposed to happen,
all of it was
too.
Great.
Like based on the set list, and the AIOU ended, and they went and they started to pack up like Jim's amp and everything, and I guess they walked off stage, and Rick was like, no, you're like, let's do another one with you, like. And so like the text
he took
came
his
and
jacket off.
Yeah,
he's just like fuck this, let's throw it out.
I will add that, like, the overall vibe of the room, especially of Jim, in that AIOU, was like, all right, thank you guys for being here, but this is my room now. This is mine now, and I'm gonna do what I do right now, and that is Jim to a freaking T, man. I mean, he knows how to take control of a room. That Don't Do It, I will be honest with you, I was all right. I sell shirts outside the show, so I was on my way to walk out, and I looked back at the stage, and they had kept Jim's microphone on stage, and I decided to stay and hang out for the encore. And I mean, that's one of the best covers that Goose has ever done. Like, take Jim out of it, like that was one of the best covers that I've ever seen them do. I mean, just such a celebration with Jim and Rick, and like just really cool. Jim does not sit in with people. I will say that it is very, very rare for him to come and sit in with someone. Jacket has a good amount of people sit in with them, but he is not one to just show up and play a song or two in Louisville. That never happens. So yeah, just huge respect for last night's ending, you know.
Amazing. I was gonna say, yeah, I guess you don't see a lot of don't do it's because you're not usually in the venue when the
No.
encore
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. Before we wrap up, Levi, wanted to give you the opportunity to let people know. I don't know if you have any shirts handy to display them. I'm not wearing one today because I want to save them for the shows this weekend.
Yes.
But I was wearing his Goose shirt yesterday. But tell the people what you've got on this tour and where you'll be and where they can find them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm Type 2 Designs is my company. I have done several projects with the band, but I also make my own merch. I have a Southern Migration shirt for this tour. With lots of really cool artwork on it. I don't have one handy right now, but I also have brought back, with permission from the band, the Oasis Goose shirt. I have the Goons shirt that Ryan, you were wearing yesterday on the pod. Thank you so much for all the support and all the love. And a few other shirts. Yeah, it's just great. You know, again, I don't know if any of the management or anybody is listening to this, but just thank you from the bottom of my heart for like allowing this to be a part of this great community that we have. This is, in my opinion, a very crucial part of having a music scene is to have artwork that's readily available to fans of all walk of life. Yeah, I'll be in Alpharetta, Charlotte, and if I have any merch left over, I will be in Columbus as well. And yeah, thank you all. Thank you for all the support.
There we go. Our pleasure. Thank you for making such amazing shirts. Levi and Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. See you guys tomorrow in Alpharetta. Here's big hat guy Lucas Anderton in the driver's seat. Lucas, anything to add about last night's show?
Nope.
He's got nothing to add. He wants to get back on the road.
Lucas is the second best dancer in the crowd.
He said you're the second best dancer in the crowd.
After Levi.
After Levi. Yeah, obviously Levi's the best dancer in the crowd. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We will see you on Saturday. Oh, quick, before we get out of here, just a reminder, there's just over a week until the Conscious pregame happening in Richmond, and you got to take advantage of grabbing those tickets while you still can. HannahandKate.com. Use code AATPOD for 15% off any purchases over $25. Saw them after the show last night. It's great to say hi. They're on this tour, so look out for them. All right, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you on Saturday. Peace.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.